Nominations are open right now. You can nominate your woman of distinction, but you were a nominee.
I was a nominee, which is sort of how I got involved in the process in the very, very beginning. I had been involved a little bit with YWCA Muskoka, mostly taking courses and a few things, and I found them quite life-changing even as a business person. And I had two mutual wonderful friends, Suzanne Riverin and Kadeen Burns, who said, oh, we would like to nominate you. And I think at the time it was in the area somehow, either health and wellness or theater or some, you know, mixture of the two. And it was a really extraordinary process. And I think one of the things that sometimes inhibits people is they go, oh, it's kind of a bit of a process to nominate someone. Well, I would say our friendship was forged in that process, because you have to sit down with a couple of friends and sort of tell them your life story and answer a bunch of questions. And in that, you find out all these things about each other that you didn't necessarily know. And you find out the extraordinary things that I think just about everyone in the world has a story to tell. And at this little moment in time with YWCA Muskoka, we get a chance to actually honor some of those people. So for me, it was lovely to have my friends think of me in that way. And after that moment, we reciprocated, you know, and went on to become nominators. And also I got more involved in YWCA because you find out more about what the kind of programs that they do. And this is their biggest fundraiser. So for me, it's a fun night. It's a gala. When else do you get to dress up in a really nice party dress in Huntsville? Not that often, right? So you get to put on your cute outfit. And all the rest.
I just think it's really interesting that you talk about just the whole process and talking about the stories that you need to tell in the nomination process. And one of the things too that I've heard from other women is just like, oh, I have to brag about myself, but that really is the avenue where you should, right?
You know, and people, like the actual evening, it's extraordinary because sometimes when people actually, you know, they are the recipient of the award in that category, they're, number one, they're dumbfounded. And you're right, people have a totally different way. You feel like, oh my gosh, because we don't tend to usually say, well, I'm really great at this, or I did this, or all of those things. But this is a moment where other people say, we want to actually say it. And some people are really great and they say, you know what, in this day and age and everything, yeah, thank you. I earned this through this thing and that thing and all the rest of things you do. But there are so many unspoken heroes, I think, in our lives. And what my favorite part of the whole evening is actually when we, as the audience, get to hear those stories, because you sort of look around and realize that every single person in the room probably has one of those stories. And we're here that day to just hear a few absolutely extraordinary ones. And we have, I don't know what it is about Muskoka, but I figure lots of people are from here and they grew here, and then there's lots of people from away, and people have all these secret little lives. No, I didn't know you opened up a school after the tsunami in, you know, in Indonesia. You know, I didn't know that you were doing, you know, this extraordinary work feeding hundreds and hundreds of seniors on a regular basis, because I see you every day in just this little way. So it's a wonderful, to me, evening and moment where you can actually go, you know what, that person makes such a difference. Why can't I celebrate them? And no matter what, it's like your birthday. You kind of get to put on the princess tiara and you get your little cute corsage and you go up and it's a little carpet and the whole thing. So it's a fun evening.
And no, it truly is. And it's funny because you've taken the words out of my mouth, because I was a nominee as well. And it really was a great and a shock to even get a nomination, let alone, you know, it's not just about the recipients. It really is about the nominees in general and just kind of opening up the world to the extraordinary women in this community.
And it's a nationwide, I don't know if it's also in the United States, but it certainly is all throughout Canada. And maybe it's sort of like the Oscars, you can know, from now on you are like YWCA nominee, Women of Distinction, Male Ciliate, right? You know, so we are always that. And there is this little pin that you get and thing, and it is quite extraordinary because you are among however many women in all of Canada who your community has chosen to celebrate.
Yes,
so
that's right.
I think, recipient or not, obviously it's always fun to be that recipient, but I think the stress is really on the nominations and the fact that we want to celebrate all of these women, and also so that we can fundraise, so that we have the programming that we have.
Now, but just before we wrap up, I want to bring that point up. It is a fundraising event, and last year they pick kind of like a program to raise money for every year. And last year was Girls Unplugged, and you are wearing a really cute outfit.
So sometimes, as the mistress of ceremonies, I wear my ball gown.
Yeah.
And last year I wanted to change it up, and this was just part of the outfit that the Girls Unplugged girls got together with me in one of their workshops and talked about all the powerful things that it is to be a girl. And they're wonderful, positive statements. And I got to be a part of that for a wee moment and think of the impact that it makes. So they're going to grow up and go out there and ripples and do great things in our community.
And potentially nominate future women,
exactly.
future peers,
so,
right?
Yeah, I think people get out there. You look around and you go, oh, that's a great person. That's a great person. And I would definitely say, you know, it might seem like it's a bit of a process because you have to answer some questions, but it is a worthwhile and wonderful beginning or enriching of friendships.
Okay.